morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. I hope you're having a good day. We're recording this on a Friday, which is always the best day of the week for me and usually my guest. And so I'm delighted to have Amanda Phelan here with us today. I'm going to be introducing Amanda in a moment. But before we get into that, as I always do in the Shergroup on the Sofa interviews, we're going to give a shout out to our number one fan, Mr. Ross Saunders, who is in Norwich, England today. So, hey, Rossi, hope you're having a good day. And I think Amanda wants to say hello.
Hi, Ross. How are you? I hope everything is okay over there. We're having a great day in Dublin. I think it's the first time we've seen the sun in nearly a year. I also understand you might have some Irish connections there as well.
Yeah, we do.
You do? Yeah, that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
I hope you're taking care of yourself and staying safe.
Thank you so much. Yeah, he's in a good place. He's a big Norwich City fan for all of you out there that might support football and know anything.
No, I don't. No, I wouldn't know anything.
Nor do I. So Ross, you're the expert.
Yeah.
All right. Listen, LinkedIn is a tremendous place for me. So many great people, and through LinkedIn and the Chartered Institute of Credit Management, I met Amanda, and what a tonic she has been in getting ready for the World Credit Congress. No, she is. She's a credit manager par excellence and a leader in her field. And we have come together, and she's coming out to Orlando in October, which is great, to represent Ireland and the UK. And she does a lot of work for the credit community in the UK. So first of all, Amanda, thank you so much for all of your effort in this World Credit Congress project. We really appreciate you. But today we got talking, as girls do, and we were talking about the kind of issues that affect women in the workplace. And we got on to the topics that we're going to talk today. And I asked Amanda if she would kind of dig into that and talk about it in Orlando. But we thought before we get into that, we would start to talk about it here. Now, this is a subject which, listen, I've been married 38 years, so I'm not a raging feminist, right? I just want to put that out there. Maybe people didn't know that about me, my poor long-suffering husband. But I'm also 61. So I'm at a point in my life where the big M word, menopause,
taboo.
I have been through, and I didn't enjoy it. And as it's a topic that many women are talking about, and men, not just for women, but obviously women go through it, we thought that we should talk about it, Amanda, didn't we?
We did, yeah.
How it affects women. So I'm just setting the scene because Amanda's going to do all the talking, but this is a topic that obviously affects around about 50% of the population of the world, and obviously women in the workplace. And we are both career women, and so we want to support other women and indeed men who are supporting women going through this period of their lives. So, Amanda.
Yes.
Can you give us an overview of the menopause journey and how it affects an employee?
Well, Claire, as we know, it's a biological journey for most women. Some women are very blessed that they just transition from one phase of their lives to the next phase without any symptoms whatsoever. But I think over the last number of years, and certainly post-COVID, where a lot of us were isolated and were stuck at home, and the four walls were getting in on top of us, and they might have been perimenopausal or going through the menopause and didn't have that infrastructure available to them at the time. So they were literally on their own, not knowing what was going on with them, wondering had they something awful and were they dying or whatever. And then that with the isolation, because I think humans are we're quite social animals. I think we're pack animals, and we don't really do very well in the grand scheme of things on our own. So again, there was a lot of people, and I can only base my experience on where I work and the people around me, you know, people who were single, living at home, who were completely isolated and had no sort of human interaction. All of these factors accumulated into mental health disturbances, difficulties, but more so heightened the difference in the physical symptoms that women had started to experience. And I think really it's the fact that you're getting the hot flushes. Oh yeah, well, I've been stuck at home in the heat because we've always got the heat on here or whatever. And then people were said, well, no, it's something more. And in the last maybe 5 years, a little bit before COVID, there was traction in relation to sort of breaking down the taboo, breaking down the, oh my God, I'm not going to talk about periods. Oh my God, I'm not talking about the fact that I can't have sex. And then people will say, no, it's not a stigma. It's not something that we should be ashamed of. It's something that we need to work collectively together. So certainly in the last, say, 3 or 4 years, there's many supports that have come up for that. And that is why the journey, certainly in Ireland, and, you know, we'll reflect on the UK as well, and in Europe, has become so fundamentally important on well-being in the workplace, well-being for you, a happy life balance, and the fact that employers need to say, okay, well, you're not just a number sitting on the desk doing your job 9 to 5. I have to make sure that you're a-okay. And if you're going through a tough time, whatever that may be, I don't put you in an office on top of the radiator where you're melting into the wall. I make sure that there's things there for you to assist you being as productive and a valued member. So, because like if you have a really unhappy work and you like your job, but it's an unhappy environment, and you go home, over time that breaks down, you know. So, you know, you start to have issues, not just psychological, your body then acts out, and then you're constantly sick, and then your employer's getting fed up with you, and they don't really understand, you know, they just think this one is just swinging the lead, when it's not that at all. And I do think there's a massive ignorance and lack of education out there. And then when I started my journey a couple of years ago, because I have an autoimmune disorder, I found immense difficulties in relation to people understanding or even cutting me some slack. So then I said, you know something, in this day and age, I don't have to live like that. So that's not my fault. It's your fault that you don't know and you don't have the tools. And then men, we forget about the guys, the men in our lives, our brothers, our husbands, our dads. And like women, it's not a one size fits all and women start off at 45. Some women start the perimenopause in their 30s. I've seen, again, some men in my life that I work with, whatever, that have had awful times. And there's a very high percentage of marriages end because people don't understand. It's something that needs to come out. It needs to be talked about. There was an old ad years ago, I don't know if you remember. Remember they used to have the little bird on the wire. I think it was a BT telecommunications ad.
Yeah.
I think it was, do you remember? And he says, it's really good to talk.
Yeah.
That's just totally true. It's good to talk. And there's nothing to be ashamed of. There's nothing to be ashamed of. In the UK, there is the Chartered Institute of Personnel and Development. There's also an advisory conciliation and arbitration service, which is known as ACAS. And they have sort of set guidelines on how to manage menopause for both yourself and your teammates in the workplace. Overall, the menopause journey is deemed a fairly significant medical health event, and the global awareness that is being rolled out is the fact that people need to understand the impact it has on your health, physical and mental, and also the quality of life and the quality and productiveness that you can do in your work environment.
So let's talk about that in terms of credit, because so in terms of what we see is we see a lot of women involved in credit-related activities with credit-related roles, and the more they go up the ladder of their careers, it doesn't matter, you know, where you are in your career, the menopause can strike. Now, there are other biological issues that can strike, but they're more well understood, like, for example, pregnancy, right? That's a well understood journey that legislation and regulation has responded to. This one is not quite so obvious for various reasons. There's no baby, so you can't see the woman going through this phase. So for women in credit, I think what we wanted to do, wasn't it? We wanted to say, look, we realise this is an issue for women of a certain age, or, as you said, going through this. I mean, what do you think the menopause can do to a credit professional in terms of interfering with their, you know, their ability to have a clear mind and come to work feeling good every day? How do you think it impacts them?
Oh, most significantly. I mean, you know, our jobs are really challenging. Yeah. They're not easy. And there's a lot of, you know, mental and psychological focus in what we do in relation to achieving our targets, but more fundamentally collecting the money. That's the base at the end of the day when you take everything out of it. And I think really trying to hold it together and turn up nicely, turn down, arrive at work and do what you have to do, and then keep everything together is exhausting, wearing, and you get depleted so quickly. And then we have to stop saying, oh, listen, I can't come in today because I have a headache. Oh, yeah, right. And your employer goes, yeah, right. It's the 5th headache she's had now in the last 4 months. You know, like, what's going on? And then they might send you to their medical doctor. No, we need to say, do you know something? I think I might be I've been to the doctor, this, that, and the other. I need a break. I need a break. I need you to let me do my thing. I need you just to help me help myself. And that's when I think their employer's duty of care has to be first and foremost. I think they should turn around and say, what do you need? It's not going to, and anyway, it's not going to cost them anything. It's not going to cost them putting in a water machine with ice cool water, clearing out maybe the office stationery cupboard and putting a chair and, you know, an ambient light in there for them to sit down when they just want to collect themselves. Because half of the time they run into the loo and have a snooze when they're sitting on the toilet, or the WC or whatever you call it. But, you know, stop. You just, what do you need? What do you want? So, like I said, in Ireland alone, a lot of employers now are promoting wellness programs. Charters are being done up to change the wellness of women, but also of the men. So, like, I know we go through our journey and that's fine, but most of us, the majority of us, have some sort of male influence in our lives. And these guys need to know what they can do to help themselves and help us.
Well, let's talk about that because, well, first of all, many of us will have seen our mothers go through the menopause. And bless their hearts, they probably made no fuss at all. They probably just put up with it. And so if anyone is thinking that women perhaps should just, what is all this noise? And they should just put up with it. Trust me, my mother did that. I don't know how she did it.
I don't know how she did it, yes. Yeah,
but when she wasn't running a company, or she wasn't trying to run a spreadsheet or give back figures into her CFO for the end of month or end of year. So women have changed, I think, in terms of the depth of their roles. And they may still be doing a parenting role, or they may still be doing a carer role, but they've also got this other new piece of role called career. And they're trying to balance, all of those three things. And something's got to give. Because
absolutely. And you and I have discussed this before, and that's why I always say we're super women, because I mean we're mommies. Most of us are mommies, or look after our elderly parents, or not, or we have, very involved in the community. So we have children, we don't have children, we're married, we're not married, we work a job, we don't work a job. We're multitasking. We do everything. And like I said, give me a break. We do everything because it's expected of us. And you and I were brought up where our moms got on with it. And and our dads, you say, oh, she's in her flowers today, don't talk to her. And you're going to go, I don't know what that means. Like,
I don't think my dad had that comment.
No, so
I think he knew when to take a
they'd go off fishing for the weekend or go to a golf event because mum was banging around the kitchen, smashing the plates,
But what in the workplace, because I definitely had a mother that, bless her heart, I loved her to bits, and she went through this without a murmur. But for women in the workplace today, what are the signals for other colleagues? I mean, younger women have no idea this is coming down the track. And for male colleagues who just don't get the same symptoms, what is it, Amanda, that you think that the kind of the signals that people should look for? I mean, obviously age is something, a kind of an indicator, but what do you see? I mean, do you see people just, like you said, sitting on the loo for a long time because they don't
want to pee and Q,
just getting going hot, or what is it, do you think, that people should look for?
I personally think it with anything, it's not, oh my goodness, you were like this today, and it's gradual. And I think, when you work, and a lot of credit managers, and certainly myself, I work very much, I go into a zone and I'm this, that, and the other. And I wouldn't be working with a whole team of people because I believe everyone works on their own. So it's not that, something's amiss, and like, there's so many symptoms, goodness gracious me. And every other day, there's a new symptom. But basically, in relation to our immediate indications, there could be things like you could start getting a rash because you're getting too hot and you're wearing synthetic clothes. Well, you could go to the doctor. The doctor says, well, you're 45 or you're 40 now. You could be perimenopause or you couldn't be perimenopause. Well, that's great, but like, can somebody tell me what's wrong with me? Flushes, I have my hair's falling out, all of a sudden I look 14 months pregnant. What the hell is going on? Oh, well, we'll do a blood test. Oh, we could do a blood test, but that won't be conclusive. So it's no one thing fits all. But there are significant symptoms. And these are fiercely debilitating, and in the workplace, very pronounced. And they're basically feeling tense. You're at a meeting and all of a sudden you get this overwhelming anxiety, or actually even being scared, and you don't know why. And you could be standing up there holding the meeting for everybody, and all of a sudden you forget your name. You just go, oh, I've lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, here's my cue cards. Yes, it was. Oh yeah. Oh, I'm back. And those little subtle hints, you get fierce with the variance in your hormones. You start to get depressed, sad. Sad, a little bit sad. Just don't seem to get any pleasure out of the things that you used to always, I mean, I love going for a ride on my bike, up the road, down the road, put on my helmet. And now, oh no, I just don't feel like. So, and then you don't know, oh my God, I've been doing this for 20 years. I love doing it, but I couldn't be bothered doing it anymore. And this, and then I've also seen, you could be at a meeting and you're having a heated meeting, and the next thing you start to cry for no apparent reason whatsoever. So it's then just so many symptoms, and there's no one size fits all, and everybody's different. But if there is anything, and your body will tell you, and you know in your heart and soul, if there is something not right, but you can't pinpoint it, and you've gone and had all the tests and they say, no, everything's fine, then I would say reach out to a menopause specialist, because unfortunately, not all GPs know what they're talking about. And there's a big rollout here with the HSC, which is our health insurance people, and to educate GPs, because the first thing they'll do is, well, yeah, you're 45, here's HRT. Well, that's great if you can take HRT. And by the way, in Ireland, you have to buy it. It's not like you get it for free.
Right.
So you take HRT, great. But what if you can't? What if you medically can't take this wonder drug that will help you function for seemingly at least 8 to 12 years post your last period? So think about 8 to 12 years. You will be feeling this awful, trying to keep your stuff together. So you have an employee who is been there 5 or 10 years. You've all grown up. The company's evolved together. Your employer is responsible for your health and safety. They must make accommodations. And like I said, it's nothing very dramatic. If they wear a uniform and they're working on the retail on the shop floor, let them buy a pair of cotton or linen trousers, because polyester is not good to us down there. If they're, give them, put them beside the window. Buy them a fan for their desk and for underneath their desk. There's lots of little things that don't cost too much money. And I think
employers do have to be. There's a couple of things that perhaps employers should be doing post-pandemic, which you mentioned earlier, and that is to be creative about their workforce. And I'm not sure why, and this is a bit controversial because all my team do work remotely, but I'm not sure why a person in the credit department necessarily needs to be coming to the office every day and sitting behind the desk. Oh, shock horror, I said that. But I do think
I agree with you. I don't. And actually, Claire, I find that I would do 10 hours work in 8 hours or whatever it is more. So I would actually be 10 times more productive at home than I would be in the office. And also, for me, I am exceptionally lucky that I work for an organization where, Amanda, what do you need? What can we do? Whatever you want. And I work from home, and I start at 8, I finish at 4. And I sit there at home. But and that's great. If I had to get up, get dressed, drive my car, I know I wouldn't. No. And I know there's a lot of hoo-ha at the moment about working and going back to work, but I think everybody is a case by case. So if you can gauge your productivity of your employees at home, you will see that they're far more productive. Now, notwithstanding the ones that if you give them an inch and they take a mile, and there's ones at home walking the dog and putting on the washing and maybe popping down to Tesco's. But it's all down to trust.
Well, we have a great tool coming at the Congress, which is a product called Collaboration Room AI. A guy called Jason Hyland is going to be presenting at Congress, and this is a tool which can be used by teams to have basically remote working spaces that everyone can see. So if you are somebody that has trust issues and you want to see your team, But also they can see you, right? So if you're the manager, supervisor, it's a two-way street. And I think remote working, particularly in credit, and the way that, you know, companies set their credit departments up, could be tremendous to liberate women from having to come to the office every day in,
I think absolute. I think that's great. But AI as well. I mean, you know yourself. You go to court. I have accounts. I don't really want people hearing me talk to somebody. Maybe not so much in that, but I have a job to do. I want my money. I don't care what I have to do to get paid. All right. So I don't really want people to listen to me. Now, I wouldn't say I scream down the phone because I don't, but you know yourself. So working from home for me, and certainly for the girls that I work with in my team, they're very productive, and we're very lucky. But not everybody's that lucky or spoiled, you know.
No, but employers can make choices around that sort of thing. And if they have a large number of women in their workforce, then those are the sorts of things that help women to be able to cope with things like the menopause.
It does, but then at the same time, right, you have to look at the statistics, right? So in Ireland alone, 51% of our working, not our population, but 51% of our working force are women.
Yeah.
Of that percentage, right, you have women who work in employment in the workplace, and basically their employers, she's got a headache again, she's having her periods, whatever, you know. Oh yeah, no, you're going to sick. No, yeah, no, that's no, fine, no, fine. Okay, well, I'm always sick. I'm beginning to think now that they're talking about me, that I'm getting special, and I'm going to leave. I'm 55, 56 years of age, or 70 or 50 or 60 years of age. I've been here for 20 years. I've been here for 10 years. And I'm going to have to leave now because I feel I'm being pushed out because I'm not getting my support. Okay, fact of life, that happens. But what we don't realize is that person has 40, presumably she started working after college, even before with her Saturday job. She has 40 years of fairly good experience, and she's worked through the Celtic Tiger recessions. She's seen the England, Britain leave the EU. We see that knowledge cannot be, that experience cannot be shared. It's inherent. And these people are walking out the door without an employer saying, look, I tell you what, if you want to leave, I need 6 weeks or 2 months notice because you're in management or whatever. Here in Ireland, you can quit and just give 30 days notice. So you're heading up the finance department, or you're heading up this, that, and the other, and you can walk out. And your experience, forget about what your qualifications, forget about that walks out the door with you. And there's no young one under the age of 30 or 35 is going to know that, because they're not inside your head. So they don't know. And that's what we need to hold on to. That value is what we need to keep, because in the world, globally, and I mean all over the world, fact of life, it's an aging population. We're getting older. So these young...
Yeah, but that's my point, isn't it? That, you know, employers and senior management leadership have got to think creatively about how to make, women don't want to be a special case. I know that. I know that we do not want to be a special case. All we want is empathy and recognition for the changes in our life that we cannot control, or largely cannot control, and so that we can continue to be productive and contributing members of a team or an organization, maybe into our 70s. Because many women don't want to retire at 60, 65. They want to carry on earning a wage and enjoy retirement on the basis of that. So,
and independence.
They want the independence. So I think for the employers out there, whatever gender you are, right, start getting creative about this tremendous body of women in your workforce that may be going through the menopause, and start and think outside the box in terms of how you look after them. And you will have, as a result, the most loyal and probably the most diligent members of your team right under your nose, without the risk, as Amanda said, of them walking out because they just don't feel valued.
No.
And that's such a missed opportunity.
And you know something, you're dead right. And you know something, I'm 10 years working here. In my last job, before that, I was in Ford for 13 years. And I've been so lucky that the places that I've ever worked in were a right fit for me, and they got used to the way I do things. So I was very lucky. But my loyalty, and unwavering loyalty, by the way, to any of my employers historically, is purely based on the fact that they saw me. Didn't have a choice now because I'd be bit in their face. But anyway, they saw me. So when I'm having a problem, when this, what do you need? And that is so cathartic. It's just, I don't have to worry. I don't have any stress. I know my employer is 10,000% behind me. They're not going to dock my salary. They're not going to penalise me. But I am that amongst a big sea. And a lot of employers, they are changing. Claire, is changing really, and there's been huge inroads. And with the larger organisation, they are doing up policies. They're changing their charters. They're putting in wellness programs, and it's not just for menopause. It's for people who go through gender reassignment. Now they acknowledge people who are going through fertility, and now parental leave for men, so men can actually enjoy those few, sleepless nights like we do when they come home from the hospital with a new baby. So we have to stop at one stage. It's not about the consumerism. It's about life. It's about your quality of life, and if you're happy, I'm happy as the employer, and my workplace is happy, and everybody smiles and laughs, and there's no confrontation. And even confrontation in itself has risen quite significantly in the last 2 or 3 years, because people are saying, no, I'm not doing that. It was okay for doing, now if you want me to do X, Y, and Z, pay me. Pay me.
Well, women are entitled to have a quality of life at work. And I think what is changing, and I know you've written some policy information for the Congress, which is great, and we'll be able to share that. But I mean, I think what you're also seeing is an increase in training and awareness, which is being driven by professional institutes and government agencies, but is also now filtering down through I'm going to say forward-thinking employers, because if anyone's watching this and going, this doesn't affect me, guys, wake up. But if for forward-thinking employers, I think you're starting to see training and awareness programs starting to emerge around menopause. I mean, I appreciate there are a lot of other issues, but I want to touch on this. Firstly, very selfishly, I went through that myself. Now, I'm the employer. So I went through that, and it was horrible. And I'm thinking, my mother went through that, and she never said a thing. I went through it and had brain fog most days. And if I went through it, what are my team experiencing? My team are those people that, of a certain age. So I want to be a good guy for them.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Other employers and leaders out there who feel the same, because
and you're lucky because you and I met when I started my credit management journey. So what was that, 2012, when you and I met? And I know for a fact you have friends working with you in Shergroup for well nigh on 20 years. So you've all grown up as a family, if you like. I know I know a lot of employees go, we're not a family, we're co-workers. And yes, you're right, that is very relevant. But there are some people out there that, you know, if you were spending 10 hours a day, 5 days a week with people in the office, you probably see more of them than you do your own kids or your own wives or your own husbands. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
Your colleagues have been through your births, your deaths, and your marriages, you know, and have held you up when you're falling down. So it is incumbent upon all of us, you and, you know, with mine and the people that I work with, that we're cognizant of these challenges. And I can't stress enough, everybody is different. You were okay. I know you have a fantastic GP who is just all over it, and hopefully we might see her in October. And I know she's got a whole portfolio of stuff then, and we will be doing something more sort of USA centric in October. But certainly I think that we really need to educate everybody, not just us, not just them, everybody. Now, I'm the type of person who will talk to you all day about anything. I'm not shy, you know. I don't believe in it, maybe because it's to do with my age, I don't know. But I think you get to a point in your life and say, well, let's talk about periods. Yeah, let's talk about this, let's talk about that. And people go, what? I mean, like, oh, for God's sake, really, you know, just get on with it. What's the problem? What's the problem? But
I think the problem is it's a bit embarrassing. I mean,
no.
I felt embarrassed. I felt that, you know, I felt I was like Superwoman. And what the hell was this brain fog? Why was I so tired? I'd never had tiredness in my life. Why was I so tired? And why couldn't I look at a spreadsheet anymore and just go, boom, I got it. And you know, and it wasn't until I had a diagnosis from my doctor who basically told me what I needed to do. I'm not going to say what I needed to do because everyone is different, but
yeah.
You know, but I think that it's embarrassing to even admit. And first of all, who wants to admit they're getting old, right?
But you see, the thing is, the thing is, we're socially conditioned to respond to certain things in a certain way because that's what everybody else does, and that's why everyone follows the leader. And then you have some people say, no, I'm not doing that. No, that doesn't suit me. What value do I get out of that? So I know exactly what you're saying because oh yeah, okay, this is my mom went through and she never said a word. And that's right, my mom went through it, whatever. But I said, no, I'm having a crap time. I can't function. I can't get out of the bed.
That's the Amanda we love.
Yeah, I can't get out of the bed. And it's your fault that if you want to put me under pressure, I'm leaving and I'm going to go back into my bed and I'm going to stay there and I don't care. And they go, okay, Amanda, right. Okay, what do you need? But it's not about what I need. Me, in like the Tasmanian devil that's going around like this, I can look after myself. It's all of you guys that are in my periphery. Like, can you cope with me? You need to know I'm having a hot flush. That's why there's 14 tons of water and my hair and my curls are falling out. You know, and I was sitting in a pool of water and people say, okay, like today I was going, I'm just not in the mood now. And somebody went and made me a cup of chamomile tea and gave me a hug. That's what we need. Empathy.
Real human things. Yeah, we've forgotten some of that.
Yeah, but you know,
you've forgotten
you and I are a bit biased, though, in all fairness. And I know for your listeners and people that are watching today, please note that Claire and I are so lucky that we are working with people for 10, 15, 25 years. We've grown up with them, we've evolved with them. We have special relationships, and I know, you know, not all employers are like that. And we don't want to make light of whatever challenges you guys have out there, not at all. And we're completely empathic to, you know, your own difficulties. But believe me, and Claire will agree, You are not alone. You do not have to live like this, and you do not have to suffer. This is not a bad thing. It's a wonderful awakening in a woman's life cycle. It's not something, it's not a dirty thing. It's not something to be ashamed of. It is a wonderful transition. People make you feel that it's dirty. People make you feel that it's embarrassing. That's on them. That's not on you.
Well, as I say, I did feel embarrassed about having to own up that I was getting older, and maybe that's vanity. But
you know, Claire, if you look at it, we'll put it like this: there is memes or whatever they call them. You know the way they say, "This is what a woman at 50 or 60 or 70 looks like in 2024," and then in 1985, and they do it with the Golden Girls, right? Yeah. In 1985, this is what a 50 and a 40 and these women, they've got grey hair, glasses with the little. So, girl, we don't have to do that anymore.
No.
That's not. You can go. You can have fillers. You can have Botox. You can go. And there's so much. We can stay. Now I have my own point of view about
how young do you want to stay?
Yeah, I have my own opinion about the lips, but mind you, women, oh my goodness, this is just, it's wonderful. It's a wonderful awakening, because now you're empowered.
Yeah.
You're empowered because you just don't care anymore.
No.
I'm 55 years of age. What you going to do? Sack me? Off you go. Who cares? What you going to do?
If anyone sacked you, you'd just walk into another job. So I know you love your company you're with now.
Nobody would put up with me. Everyone tells me nobody would put up with me. They wouldn't be able for me, really.
Honestly, that's another empowering thing, I think, about older women. What, you know, 50, I'm going to say 50 plus, 60 plus, you know, in the eyes of the right employer, you are very, very valuable. So never, you know, your skills, your career history, never undervalue your ability. And I would take a woman over 50 any day of the week. I
agree with you. And I always, first of all, I marvel at women who have kids and careers. I do actually think they're super women. I had a daughter. I was a single mom after 2012, and I woke up one morning and I said, you know something, nobody's going to look after me. I'm too old to have my mum and dad ring me up and do my school runs and everything. I'm just get up and get on with it. And then I just don't suffer fools lightly anymore, because I'm just over it. I'm just over it. And I think as women get older, their attitude is, well, you know, I've raised my children, I've done the school runs, I've spent 20 years standing on the sidelines in the lashing rain while they played rugby. What about me? What about my life? What about, okay, I've lost the ability to have children. That's fine. If you're 55, you can adopt, you know. But that aside, there's lots of, it's not a death knell. I see it as, I actually see it as an awakening. I do. I actually do.
I think it's fantastic. My mother, bless her heart, went on to 93. So, you know, I think, well, I got another 30 years of, if I've got the same gene pool, I'll be lucky enough.
Well, we live longer now, Claire. It could be over 105.
Exactly. And that's the other point, you see, that women are living longer. They are able to manage this part of their lives better. And it will get better, and therefore they'll be able to continue to earn for longer.
But of course,
and that's important, because they want a standard of living in their retirement which matched their career standard of living, which is about going on holiday. It's about having whatever you want yourself, being able to afford whatever you want, change your car, go on holiday.
Yeah. I love my holidays, yes.
And that is within grasp. And this menopause issue is one that we want to get through, and we don't want good women walking away from their careers because they couldn't cope with these changes.
And as it stands at the moment, you know, the representation of women in the boardroom is woefully low.
Oh yes.
Because men,
on that.
and I'm not men bashing now. I think you're all great, but you know, we can do a lot more than you think. But women who are having children and want to walk up the corporate ladder, they get stifled. And then if we haven't raised our kids, the next thing is, sure, they're kids and you have to go early to pick them up for school. And if it's not that, then sure, you're a bit menopausal now. We can't deal with you dealing with these multi-billion-dollar accounts. We can't have you in the room having a hot flush, you know. And you're going like, oh, for God's sake, right?
Please don't. I'm just listening to you, and if you're listening to this and I don't know, you're managing, leading a team, owning a company, don't be that employer. Life changed after COVID. The whole planet shut down for 2 years.
Oh, yeah.
And everyone thought we were going to go to pieces. And do you know what? We all survived and we all went back to work, or we worked all the way, as we did in our team. We worked from home. But we've been working at home. And I'm very proud to say that Shergroup India has been working at home since 2015. And we've allowed a lot of working women in India to have their families and continue to work from their home offices, which was a revolution when we started it back in 2014, 2015.
A front runner, really, isn't it?
Yeah. And I truly believe that women who have children and have parental care responsibilities, the more flexibility you can give them, the better employee they will be. And they will give you 150% back if you can just find it in your heart to be creative. And particularly
absolutely.
Menopause issue. Yeah.
I know, and actually, the most important thing I think now, because you know, employees are quite fickle, because it's no longer about getting the money to pay for my mortgage and buy my house, because you have to actually sell your soul to the devil over here if you want to get on the corporate ladder, onto the commercial ladder. It's just ridiculous. But anyway, that aside, I think really it's about, when I walk out of my office, can I go for a drink in the bar, my home on a beautiful summer's day, and just feel, you know something, I achieved so much this week. Good on me. I'm great. Go home and then maybe get on your bicycle or go for a hike up the mountain or walk the dog and feel like, you know, I'm in control and I have a really good, instead of going home going, oh my God, that was just like the worst week ever. I just can't cope. So I'm going to get into my pajamas, put my hair up in a bun and just stay there till Sunday when I have to get dressed and go back to work on Monday. And some people don't do that anymore. People are
quite right too.
No, they don't.
Quite right too, that they should do a job that they enjoy and that they it pays them the right amount of compensation and they have the lifestyle that they want. And if they want a better lifestyle,
Claire, no matter what job we ever do, they'll never pay us enough. You'll never work in a job. We'll always be wanting more money or more perks, no matter what happens.
Well, that's true. But that's fine, because as long as people are prepared to earn it and work for it, then why not? So, you know, so my message to listening to you today, and I know that you're a huge advocate for looking after women, and we're talking about the menopause today, but a huge advocate for women and women in credit. You should go in for one of those awards, the Women in Credit Awards. You know, you should be.
I should, and actually, can I just mention as well? We have hopefully Beba, you know, coming over from she's coming over in October. She's another one. She's another one like me, where you know she does a lot of podcasts. But she's one who absolutely just thinks we're super women. And, you know, now for those men that may or may not be listening, we are not roaring feminists. No, we're not.
Say that at the beginning, and
okay. So just so you know, guys, we are not. We're all equal. Everybody's 50-50-50. What we're beating our drum here is for you, if you're a husband, if you're a son, if you're a nephew, be aware, educate yourself, and notice if auntie's not feeling well, or maybe granny wouldn't have it. But anyway, you can still have menopause symptoms up till your 70s, your 80s, believe it or not. Please educate yourself, because from my point of view, and the reason why I started getting interested in the men's side of it was some of the people, okay, so years ago, we all got married in our 20s. We came out of college and we got married. And then some of us didn't get married till our late 20s, maybe early 30s. So when we're hitting 55, whatever, our kids are in their 20s, right? Okay, so, but some of us who got married later, and suddenly mom is going through difficulties, and you and your wife, or you and your sister are having arguments, your children are going to sit in the couch and go, Mummy and Daddy are always shouting at each other. Mummy and Daddy are the... Bring kids in. Tell them, mom's just going through a few things at the moment, because kids are sponges. They have like record hearing that goes around the corner and up the road. And they don't know when you're starting to fight, especially when you never fought before. And that is one of the things that makes me sad. It does make me sad. And again, I can only go on the experience of what certain friends have said to me over the last 2 years who have children at that age. They don't understand raised voices because they never had them. The short tempers, the slam of the doors. You only get them out of teenagers. Teenagers do that. Once they hit 13, it's bang this, bang that, bang the door when you get out of the car, grunt at you. Yeah, we can put up with that in the teenage years. But like after that, not really. So, my poor daughter got educated on the menopause to the point where I go, oh, Rebecca, and she goes, Mom, what do you need? Will I get you a nice pack? Do you want it? I go, oh, that's great. It's great service I get now when I come home. It's like, having my own maid.
That's good for her. Good for her.
But she's got no choice.
Well, I think it's important that you do talk about it, particularly with your daughters, because...
And I talk with my mom and my two sisters. One is a nurse, and actually she's in fertility and works in a menopause support network out here in Dublin. And the three of us are at that point. So between the three experiences, not only from a medical point of view and her direct involvement, and like I said, she's a fertility nurse specialist. So it's fascinating. It's just fascinating stuff. It really is.
You can see we've got a huge advocate here for levelling up in the workplace around this topic.
The most important thing is for those people that are listening, you really, really, really need to make a big effort to come to Florida, because, and again, I've been biased, but I've seen what the program is like. It's just going to be everything. And you'll walk out of there going, oh my God, my head's blown. My head is blown. And certainly for those contacts that you have in America, if you guys can make it, you have to come.
Well, that's a great advert for us, and we look forward to
it would be silly, especially if in the States, it'd be silly not to. And there's a big party. Yeah,
there's a big party. I think the point about the States is that having looked at a lot of conference programs for the US in the credit space, which of course is where we're at, no one's talking about the menopause.
Well, no, they're not. But there is the North American Association for Menopause, which I'm hoping.
I'm talking about in the credit circuit.
No, sure, they're not going to talk. Listen, as well as I do, a large part of the credit circle are more mature, and there's a huge, big representation from female credit managers, but we're sort of out there out in the back. So we're all starting to say, excuse me, I'm here, like, hello. And we're the next phase. We're the next phase as we train the ones that come behind us. So like when we started our journey, we were all in our 20s.
Yeah.
Half of us fell into nearly all of us fell into it by accident.
Yes, I've had many people have told me that in their credit journey.
So our job, our legacy is that you and we are all going to turn around to the young ones behind us and teach them what we know, and then let them absorb and learn by doing whatever they need to do, or even just sit and watch. Just sit and watch. Yeah. I mean, like I have a new employee, and she just sits and she watches me, you know, and I don't want her to take notes. I want her to just sit and watch. And now some people would say, what a waste of her time. Well, I mean, like, she just sits and she watches you when you're having meetings. No. It's like watching telly. If you watch the same and the more or less the story's always the same, then whether you consciously know it or not, it goes in here. Yeah. You may not know that it's going in here, but it imprints. Oh, yeah. Well, this is the way, it's the same conversation, different words, but the process is the same. So I can do that using my own narrative, and I'll still get what I want at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly. So come to Florida, all you credit women.
Book your flights. I've already to book mine.
Yeah, book your flights, come to Florida, and listen and meet Amanda and Baber.
God bless you.
The other leading, some very senior women in credit coming to the Congress, and they will pitch in on this conversation, I know. And then we're doing things like yoga. So please,
how lovely.
Come to Florida and have a different type of conference experience.
We should do Tai Chi as well. We should do some Tai Chi.
Well, I've got a very good yoga instructor here who does online yoga around the world. So I'm going to get her to come to Bechtle and show us some yoga. So come with your mats and come ready to do yoga before you go home.
And most importantly, Claire, that anybody that's watching, please go in on LinkedIn and like the World Congress page, just to keep up to date with the latest and the greatest. You'll find Claire there, you'll find me hovering around in the background. And also, if you're not linked into us, please link in with Claire, and certainly link in with me, and we'll be able to keep you updated on our progress. Well, I'm not doing anything, Claire's doing all the work, and her team, mind you.
No, there's an entire team, and I'm just grateful for all the enthusiasm and support that we're getting from ACA International, who are
they're so good. Yeah.
And the Chartered Institute of Credit Management in the UK, of which Amanda is a part.
Yes.
So, okay, well, thanks for the plugs for the Congress, Amanda. Let's just say
fact.
Well, let's just say great to hear you today in full flow, and there'll be other opportunities to hear Amanda before October, and then come and meet her in person. For everybody listening to this today, the best way to connect with Amanda is on her LinkedIn profile. She's got a growing profile out there, so please link up with her and message her and set up a Zoom call. That's what I'm doing with a lot of my LinkedIn contacts now. Geez, I'm talking to a lot of people. So thank you so much, everybody that's connecting with me and my team and people like Amanda. We really are building this global credit community, which I'm passionate about, because I think there's so many good people in it. I hope there's some takeaways in here for today for you. If nothing else, Amanda will have got you fired up about how to manage these changes in your life. I wish I'd had an Amanda when I was going through my changes. And for everyone else, for Shergroup, yes, we are hosting the Credit Congress, which is a tremendous privilege for us. So thank you to Lewis, Declan, Joseph, and Eugene for allowing us the opportunity to do this. You can find us on all the social channels as Shergroup. And you can also find the worldcreditcongress.com, which is our website, which is continually changing as we update with lots more things. And you can go in for the Global Credit Awards.
Oh, so yes, totally. Yes.
Win an award for being a leader.
If you're not in, you can't win. Sure you can.
So that's exactly right. So please don't be shy. Put your nomination. And
No
it's
more
on.
shyness. No more shyness.
She doesn't do
Empower
shyness.
yourself.
You can
Empower
see.
yourself to be the boss.
Yeah, you can see she's like not shy at all, which is why she's going to be great in Orlando. So guys, thank you so much for listening today. Amanda, thank you.
And thanks to your cousin, if he's probably gone for a cup of tea at this stage.
Nephew, yes, he's probably.
Or your nephew. Did he go for a cup of tea? Yeah, he's probably got bored.
Said to his mum, what is this menopause thing? So I'll leave that to my sister to explain that to whoever she needs to explain it to. She's going to kill me. Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
And
Amanda.
thank you for having me, and thanks for inviting me for this share group on the sofa.
You're very welcome. We'll talk again.
Yes. No, of course we will. Yeah. Talk to you next week. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Bye.
Bye from Dublin. Bye.